Good afternoon. Welcome to TXAPA Live. We'd like to go through a couple of issues before we get started. Again, we'd like to thank you for joining. This program is being recorded and you will receive a link to it later on. Please feel free to share the link. Remember to join us for TXAPA Live every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. We are using the GoToWebinar webcam feature for this program. Please resize your screen to full size for best viewing. And if you have any questions at any time, please type them into the question box. If your screen looks like this, just double click on the webcam itself, or at the bottom right on that two little arrow, that should take you full size. Again, if you have any questions, just type them into the box down there at the right-hand side. Remember to hit send, and we will pick up your questions as we get going. And so again, I'd like to thank you for attending today. All the shows for TXAPA Live can be found at our website, texasasphalt.org, right on the front page, right down in the middle. Click on that box. It'll take you to the TXAPA Live page, and right down there at the bottom in blue, if you're looking for TXAPA Live videos, click right there and you'll see all the videos we've done for this, and then today's show will be up there probably by tomorrow morning. So again, thank you. I'd like to introduce your host today, Harold Mullen.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to TXAPA Live. I'm Harold Mullen, and we are delighted that you are here to join us on another session of TXAPA Live. You know, we hope you're staying safe. We hope you're staying healthy. All the good things are happening to you. And I just want you to report to you that we've been checking in on our members at TXAPA. Our staff has been calling members to see how they're doing, see if there's anything we can do for them. And I want to give a very positive report. Our members are doing really good. By and large, they're all busy. They're working, doing things from home as well as out in the field. And I just want to thank all the members of TXAPA for doing all those things to make everything happen out in the field. Thank you so much for making it happen. Making it all happen for us is Jim Ward, our Director of Engineering Technology. Jim is behind the boards. As you heard, he gave you a few directions, and one of those is about questions. We do want to keep this interactive. This is our communication time. So if you will, ask your questions by typing in the question box, put the hand up, and Jim will make sure that those questions get to us. Remember, TXAPA Live comes to you 2 times a week. On Tuesdays, we have news and updates. On Thursdays, we talk about specifications and test procedures. And this coming Thursday, which is April 30th, we will have Chuck Fuller and Ryan Barbarak with TxDOT talk to us about item 244, the thermal imaging system, the new proposed test procedure that's coming out that will be matching up with the specifications. So that's on Thursday, and I'm sure we'll hear Mr. Fuller talk about that a little bit more in detail. All right, today's show, we have another good show. Chuck Fuller is here. Chuck Fuller is Chuck is our industry relations consultant. He's also our ambassador of quality. So we're glad to have Chuck here today. Yeah. And also we have Corey Schwarz. Corey is our HMAC manager. So we had these two guys here to talk to us about specifications, about the certification program. We're going to talk about some association activities, our annual meeting, and those type of things. So we're going to have a great meeting. But to get everything started for us today, we always like to have our safety share, and Mr. Jim Moore is going to do our safety share on the Joint Safety Task Force for COVID-19. Jim?
Thank you, Harold. Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome you again, and we'll go through our safety share, show you a couple little images here. Again, this is a joint workforce safety plan. What TXAPA did, Jenna and Emily, over the last couple of weeks is they put together some infographics to demonstrate some of the items that have come out of that joint workforce safety plan. I want to go through those, show them to you right now. We've got and all these are available at texasasphalt.org/COVID-19 resources. If you go to the website, right there at the top bar, there's a COVID-19 bar. Click on that and you'll see these. They've got a safety share on why road construction is continuing during the pandemic, why it is deemed essential, all the issues that that have been required for the contractors to keep up with. We've also got an infographic on employee safety. It discusses, employees who are sick, guidance on testing, high risk health, employees who show signs, those kinds of things. We've also got a general guidance document, got 10 items there, which include, the standard washing the hands, social distancing, communications, both in English and in Spanish, communication being on phone rather than in person best as you can, and not sharing of instruments that could contain the virus. We've also got a cleaning, disinfecting one. Again, discusses wash stations, sanitizing, talks about surfaces and how to sanitize and disinfect areas. We've also got one for personal hygiene, and our favorite, I think we will never forget, not to wash our hands for 20 seconds forever again in our lives. And then just other things you can do to be safe relative from a personal standpoint. And then we've got a return to work if someone has been sick or they have a positive test. So there's a number of things there. These are all downloadable. Again, you can share these. You can post them to your webpage, to your social media site. We're so glad we've got great staff around here to be able to put those things together in a really cool format for us to work on. So that's a safety share for today. Remember to be careful out there. Really, really important. Let's drive this thing down so we can all get back to work, and so I can get a haircut, and so we can start eating out again. So we're pleased about that. So back to Harold.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. That's a long-haired Jim. This is the longest his hair has been since high school.
I think so.
Yeah, thank you. I do want to thank Jenna and Emily for putting the infographics together. These will be more important than ever. We want to make sure that you're passing those out to your employees, to your family, your friends. As we start to open up Texas, as businesses are starting to open and we venture out more, personal hygiene and those type of things will be more important than ever. So we want to make sure that everybody's getting that message. That's why these infographics were created, so we can put them on social media, as well as just hand them out and have them around the house or our offices. So thanks to the crew for doing a great job on that. There was big news yesterday. The governor came out and made several announcements about phase one and how things will be opening up. Of course, everybody knows he has 3 phases, and the first one's going to take effect coming up Friday, May 1st. His stay in place ordinance or executive order will expire on April 30th. He will let that expire. And so he has new orders coming out Friday, May 1st. And there are several businesses that can be opening. Those are retail stores, restaurants, movie theaters, and malls can all open up. There are a few guidelines that they have to stay by and operate, and that is that they have to operate at 25% capacity. So there will be some challenges. There will be some things there that happen. I also read one of the details is that you cannot have more than 6 people at a table at the restaurant. So there'll be some issues and things that will be ongoing that we will have to work through. But great news. We will be starting to open up some of those businesses where we can, from a common sense point of view, as long as we're doing our details of personal hygiene and those type of things, can take advantage of the businesses that are opening. This is a permission to reopen and not a requirement. That's one thing the governor wanted to make sure he pointed out. That is a permission. Not everybody has to open, so it is permission, not a requirement. In counties with 5 or fewer cases of coronavirus, they can operate up to 50% capacity. So that's a little more than what we can if we have more than 5 cases. Also, the travelers coming back and forth from Louisiana, no longer do you have to self-quarantine for 14 days. Now our members who have operations on both sides of the border and people living on both sides of the border, that'll make it a little more convenient for transportation back and forth from the east side. Also, some outdoor sports are now going to be opened up if you limit those to a minimum of 4 participants. So looks like golf is going to be back open, and You can enjoy the great outdoors through golf and tennis as long as you limit it to 4 participants.
So rugby's out.
Rugby is out. Yeah, you got to have more than 4. Sorry, Jim. I know that's your favorite. But just remember, one thing we want to point out is through all these things, we're all excited about getting back to enjoying those type of things. Let's remember those common sense things that we have to do. And the governor pointed those out many times. Let's use that common sense approach of practice social distancing. Keep our hand clean, as Jim was talking about, for 20 seconds. Clean and disinfect the areas that we touch a lot. Let's be sure and clean those up. Stay home when you're sick, and don't spread the germs. Don't be touching your eyes and nose, and when you cough, cover it with your elbow or sneeze, that type of thing. So those common sense approaches are going to help us go into phase 2. So we want to make sure that we're doing that. All righty, now we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of our meeting and our discussion here, TXAPA Live session. And first off, I want to bring up Corey Schwarz. As I mentioned, Corey is the manager of our HMAC certification program, does a great job over there. Corey, how are you and the staff doing at HMAC these days?
Well, Harold, it's great seeing you. Everyone over at the HMAC is doing great. We're practicing social distancing. We're working from our homes. Sometimes we come up there and individually get things done up there at the office as well, making sure all the paperwork and those things are getting ready. But personally, everybody's doing excellent. We've even had one that has a new grandchild that came in. And so, waiting for that day where she can go hold that baby. So everyone's in good spirits and having a great time.
Fantastic. I know y'all been working on a lot of things over there, making some things happen so you can get open as soon as possible. What's the latest guidance you have out there for when the classes, the HMAC will begin again?
So one of the things we want to do is make sure we have a safe and clean environment for everyone. And so we've canceled our classes, or postponed, I like to say better, because we will get you into those classes, before October. But we've postponed the classes until May 18th. So our plan right now is to start back up May 18th and having our classes. They'll probably look a little different, and communication will go out about that. But May 18th is that day. I know some people, hopefully you've read the TxDOT ordinance that came out, or memo. Basically, if you, needed to be recertified between March 16th and July 1st, TxDOT will give you an extension until October 1st. So that gives you you don't have to stress to try to get in as soon as possible. We can make this work, and if we balance out the schedule, everybody will be able to get in, and it'll all be great.
You bet. Once the HMAC does open up, right now we're kind of operating under a 25% capacity. May 18th, that might be phase 2 kicking in. We don't know yet. If we have 25%, is that how we're going to be operating? Is that kind of how many people you'll be having into the building?
So our leadership, our board of directors, they've given us some really good guidance and direction. And one of the things we're going to do is we're going to always be about 2 weeks behind whatever phase they're in. So that's why we kind of went with May 18th. That's 2 weeks from May 1st when phase 1 starts. And so when May 18th hits, if they move into phase 2, we'll move into phase 1, basically with the 25% in a class.
You bet. You're right. The board of directors has given us great instruction throughout this whole thing. President Carey, the entire board, they met last week, gave us that direction, and we're able to carry those things out. We certainly appreciate their leadership that they've been given to TXAPA throughout this entire process. You have a lot of technicians that need certifying out there. We have those that were trying to be recertified. We have a lot of new hires in the industry corps coming up in here. What kind of measures are you taking to make sure we can meet the needs of our entire industry and get everybody certified?
So one of the things I feel like that this COVID-19 has really done is kind of put people in certain positions. And sometimes in those positions, we come up with some great ideas. And I feel like this, the thing I'm about to share is a really great idea. That's a virtual certification. It's something that'll be for members and for our TxDOT partners and city and county officials as well that want to get certified. We're just in the pilot phase right now, kind of the developmental phase. We've had a 1A. It went great. We still got to think some things to tweak on it. We're doing a 1B today. Actually, Josiah is working on that today. An SB 102 is coming up, and a level 1B training virtually we're working on as well. It's, we're using, virtual platforms like Zoom, and those type of things, but it's really a cool thing that we're offering, and, we'll be able to really save our industry a lot of money as well with travel and all those type of things too in this scenario. But, I think adding this tool will really help us be able to get through those numbers as soon as possible.
Corey, that's extremely exciting. I know a lot of times major issues bring on some great opportunities for us, and that sounds like a true opportunity. I'm glad to see you move into that developmental stage and in pilot stage. I have seen that process, and I am very excited for you. I think it's going to be a great process and one that a lot of people will want to take advantage of. However, I just want to point out that nothing changes. You can still come through our regular certification program. So we're not moving everything that way. We're just doing this to make sure we can accommodate everybody. But Jim,
it's just another option.
It's just another option.
Right.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So it is a great option, and one I'm sure that a lot of people are going to take advantage of. So Corey, great job on that.
Harold, one of the things though that also to take advantage of the HMAC now, they have to have all the equipment, and that's why there's always options. We got to have the option to come here to us, or the option to do the virtual, or other situations as well.
Great point, Corey. You've got to have the right equipment. If you expect to be certified on all the test procedures, you've got to have the latest requirements that those test procedures outline. So you're exactly right. Thanks for pointing that out. One thing that we talked about before the first time you were here, it was online registration. Can you give me an update on online registration and when we might see that come about?
Yeah, the team's been working really hard on that. Robin Strong has been leading that charge, and we have a deadline of May 18th. So hopefully after May 18th as well, you'll be able to log on to TXAPA.org and register online for a class.
That's awesome.
That is great.
Great news.
Great. I look forward to that. That's going to put us right there where we need to be, where people can get online and then eventually go on that virtual process. That's excellent, taking advantage of all that wonderful technology. So Corey, I really appreciate y'all taking advantage of this time to be working on those things and having the insight to do that. And I know everybody out there is just wanting to make sure they're going to be able to get certified just one more time. You feel like by going through some of these new steps, you will be able to take care of those who were not able to get here during their regular scheduled time, and also those that were already scheduled to come through. You're going to be able to meet the industry need, right?
Well, our plan is to have everyone that missed still be certified by October 1st. That's what we're doing, and I don't think we're actually going to have too big of an issue with it. I think it's going to be something that goes pretty good, and we streamline it. I've talked with the instructors. All the instructors have said, hey, you know what? We're willing to work a little bit longer day if it means adding a couple more people to make sure that our industry keeps moving and people get certified.
Excellent. Thank you, Corey. Jim, you have a question?
Well, just a statement. If anybody does have any questions for Corey, just go ahead and type them in the question box and send them in, and we'll get them picked up.
Corey, I just want to say you and your staff have always accepted challenges, have always made opportunities out of that, have always done a great job. And when you say those words, man, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody come through the certification program and get the training they need and get the certification they need. Do you have any final comments for us today?
Well, Harold, thinking about the HMAC now, one of the things we're really looking for are participants. So if you're interested, your certification's expired, you want to be part of the pilot class in these developmental programs, we really need you. So just give me, Kayla, or Robin a call, and we'll make sure that you get in one of those pilot classes so that we make sure that we're getting the best feedback as well from our pilot classes.
You bet. Thank you, Corey. That's one thing I want to say is communication. We always need to be communicating. Just like if you go online and you see that there's not a class, please call up, because Corey and his staff are always opening up classes. We don't want anybody not to be certified or a project held up because of that. So we do our best as long as we had the planning and the time to do that to accommodate most everybody. So keep that communication going with the HMAC. Visit with our staff for any of your needs. Corey, thank you so much. We appreciate that. All right, next up is Chuck Fuller. As I mentioned, Chuck is our ambassador of quality. He's our industry relations consultant. He's done a great job over the years as a past president of our association. Of course, was a award-winning contractor for many years too. Chuck, how in the world have you and Sabre been doing?
Thank you, Harold. Yes, Sabre and I are doing great. Again, I live in a 900 square foot house with a dog that weighs 100 pounds. So if you're hearing barking, it's the best I can do. But Sabre and I are doing great. We're safe, we're healthy. And again, in a 900 square foot house, I thought maybe I would have already gone crazy, but it's worked out really well, to tell you the truth. It really has.
Fantastic. We're glad to hear that. And we just feel a little more sorry for Sabre than what we used to.
Ain't that for sure?
Yeah, I know how that goes.
She's going to need a vacation when this is all over, Chuck.
You know, Chuck, recently you spearheaded the effort for us on commenting on specifications that have already been approved now and went to effect in February. And a lot of those were our disc-graded mixes, super pave. You know, those projects really haven't kicked off, or we don't have a lot of mix out there now with the new specifications. Can you kind of remind us of some of those major ones that we really need to be watching for?
Absolutely. So starting with the February letting now, you know, 3076 and 3077 are approved for use. And so that's our dense graded material and our super pave. And so just some of the highlights of those items that could cost you some money if you're not paying attention is that with the dense graded material, the special specification 3076, the maximum recycler binding ratio is 10%. Okay, that's on surface mix. The reason that's so important is that the maximum amount of wrap we can use in the new specification is 15%, which again, that's going to revert you back to the ratio. So pay attention to the ratio portion and not the maximum wrap portion, because I believe that you're going to hit the ratio portion before the maximum wrap. No double grade dumps. Okay, so if a material is a 76, you can only grade dump 1 to 70. And you cannot grade dump out of a modified material. In other words, if it's a 70 minus 22, you cannot grade dump to a 64. Okay, that's both within the dense graded material and the super pave. That's in both specs. There's a lot of overlapping similarities between the two specs. That's one of them that's really pays attention to. With the super pave, the maximum binder ratio is 15% on surface, and the maximum percentage of wrap is 20%. So again, pay attention to that maximum ratio in lieu of the maximum percentages, because I think you'll find that you'll hit the ratio before you hit the maximum wrap. No shingles in the surface mix unless otherwise noted by plan note. Okay, that's one that's going to cost you some money. There's a lot of people have shingles in the surface mix. That's unless it's done by plan note. The sand equivalent. We had a lot of discussion about sand equivalent. So instead of running the sand equivalent on the total mixture, we're now running it on the fine aggregate, okay? And it's at 45% is the sand equivalent. A lot of discussion has happened with that. The Materials and Test Division accepted a lot of feedback from us. We produced, I believe, 9 or 10 samples throughout the state of sand percentages. And the Materials and Test Division will give us that report here by the end of this week, and we'll get it out to our members. But what they're looking at is sand equivalent, methylene blue, and then lineal shrinkage. And again, this is all about quality, people. This is about quality. Clay is not good for hot mix. We know that it's not good for hot mix. And so if we have clay in our sands, we need to eliminate the use of that sand. And then of course the big deal is that we knock the sand down to 10%. Underneath the super pave, we have the master gradation band has changed. For the number 8, you have to dip below, and they narrowed that band to where you're going to be below the reference zone, and you can no longer design above the reference zone. And what that's going to do is give us more stone on stone, more oil, and more VMA. So again, all these were done to be able to help us get more durable, longer lasting pavements. That's what it's all about. And hopefully we'll start laying these mixes here in June and July on some of these overlays that were bid in February and March. And we can start seeing the outcome of this pretty quick. So I'm pretty excited about it, to tell you the truth.
Excellent. We really appreciate that. You know, Chuck, one thing that you've been talking about with these changes that are coming up and things that we're seeing in some of the other mixes specifications that are upcoming is temperatures. We're starting to see temperatures play a much greater role in the specification. What's your take on that, the addition of these temperatures, and what kind of challenges should we face with that?
So we have a maximum production temperature now established for your grade of asphalt. So 76 is 345, 70 is 335, and 64 is 325. That's the maximum production temperature. We also have minimum placement temperatures for these mixes. 76 is 280, 70 is 270, and 64 is 260. Now you can reduce those by 10 degrees if you're using a warm mix for compactionate. But the reason that that's so important is because now we're working toward moving toward the density segregation profile. Instead of it being a time period of 60 seconds that the paver stops, we're looking at it as being a temperature related. So the density profiles are going to come into play. So if you're currently using a camera and you're not using an IR system, you're going to have to run a density profile every sublot. Okay, that's the big deal. The other deal is that you're going to have to run that density profile when the temperature for a 70 or 64 is 250 degrees. In other words, your paver stop and your mat temperature behind your uncompacted mat behind your paver is 250. Segregation density profile, it's 260 degrees for 70, and it's 220 degrees for, or 270 degrees for 76. So, you know, what we're doing is Ryan is really and truly, he is really looking at in the materials and tests with Travis and Nod about temperatures, and currently they're rewording test method 244, and that's going to include the IR bar and the use of the camera. So he's really, materials and tests has identified segregation, thermal segregation, as one of the major causes for our pavements not lasting as long as they should. So we addressed adhesion, right? We got a TAC item, which is great. And now we're addressing thermal segregation with item 244. So Ryan and Anand and Travis, those guys are all working on this. And like you said, this Thursday, we'll have an update on 244. So please be with us this Thursday at 2 o'clock for Ryan to be able to give us an update on 244 and where we stand with that IR one and the system effectiveness.
You bet. You know, Ryan makes it no secret. He is very interested in temperatures. He's very interested in the thermal aspects of our mixes. And one of the things he asked us the other day at our most recent Asphalt Pavement Quality Initiative Committee was, when is industry going to accept a requirement that we have to have a thermal imaging system on our projects? And that was a big question, Chuck. What's some of the pros and cons that you've seen in the use of a thermal imaging system behind the paver?
Yeah, so we've been in contact and discussion about this for a long, long time. But I think now with the new specification or new test procedure 244 being rewritten, we're going to allow more IR bars to be available, or thermal imaging systems to be available. I know that Bogley has one, TopCon has one, Caterpillar has one, and with the rewrite of item 244, it's going to open up the amount of thermal imaging systems that are available for use. Once that happens, I believe that we're going to be taking a look, especially at these thinner materials and these materials that are the PFCs and the ultra bond thinted bond friction courses. Those, you know, really and truly should be run with an IR bar just to help with overall constructability of the project. Again, because temperature is so crucial with PFCs and thin bonded and with TOM mixes. But yeah, I think that once we open up the spec, get everybody to be on board with it, the next method would be for that to come through our new specification, is to have an IR system, you know, to be able to utilize an IR system when we're running those specialty mixes.
We look forward to hearing more about that on item 244 Thursday with you and Ryan. Thank you for that. I know you have been in touch with a lot of our liquid asphalt suppliers, our major associate members, checking in on them. We were going through a big change there in the liquid asphalt sampling and testing program. What kind of information have you got back from our liquid suppliers? I know you've talked to several contractors about that too. How is the experience and implementation of this program going?
Yeah, so the binder guide, which is on our website, I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit second here. But the binder guide is being followed pretty good with the seal coat guys. The seal coaters have started down south, like in Farr and Laredo. They just started here, I guess, a couple of weeks ago. And talking with the suppliers, the material suppliers, that test or materials are being pulled. The test samples are being pulled every day, and they're being stripped off the materials to test. So we'll get some information back on that coming up. But I believe, Harold, that at the beginning of May, especially when this thing gets broken loose, this COVID-19, and we really get to shooting seal coats, and we really get into the hot mix season, we're going to see that the materials and tests is going to get a lot of information from our material guys out there in the field. That's at the asphalt plant and also on the seal coats. So I think it's going well. They believe it's going well. We haven't had any failed tests yet, so of course, but they really just started shooting the seal coat a couple of weeks ago down south. So I believe that in May and June, we're going to really have a lot of information. So looking forward to seeing that. So.
You bet. One thing you always preach is communication, and I think each district is going to be a little bit different in their implementation of this program. So I think it's going to be vitally important that all of our members are in contact with TxDOT, in contact with the district to find out exactly how they're going to implement the program. And the pre-construction conference is always a great place, or pre-paving conference is a great place to do that. But you have several questions you've always asked them to come up with. Do you still have some of those in front of you? What questions or what things they need to be asking TxDOT on the implementation of that plan?
Yeah, so we talk quite a bit with the contractors and with suppliers, and they're utilizing our website with the materials and tests. I mean, the liquid binder testing pipeline. So on our website, we have a ton of information on there, and Emily and Janet's done a great job. It's all there. It's all in one spot. But if you go to the website and you look at the liquid binder guidance document, the very first thing that's going to pop up is 5 things that a contractor can do to be successful with this new procedure. And also it gives you a checklist on how to follow the sample and what to do with the sample. And then it also has the guidance document. It has item 500, the testing procedure, and then it also has reference to item 300. So all that information is right there. Not only is it right there for the liquid binders, but it's also right there for all of our new specifications that we're currently looking at. That's the SMA, the PFC, the tall mixes, and the thin bonded friction courses. And of course, we've done these 20-minute videos over the last month on those, and those are all on the website. All the specifications are on the website. All the test procedures that are changing are on the website. Everything's in one area, one location. It's easy to go to. It's easy to follow. And if I could say just one thing is, please utilize that information. This is going to change the way that we do business, and it's going to have an effect on our pocketbook, and it's going to have an effect on whether, how again, everything that we do is going to have an effect on. And it's all right there in one spot. And I just believe that we really and truly, the information's there, the data's there, everything's there. Please utilize the webpage, and please utilize those areas that Jenna and Emily put together for us. And they did a great job.
Thank you, Chuck. That's exactly right. They have done a good job, and you have done a good job of coordinate that, making sure we're communicating and have our information out there available on that website. We appreciate you keeping up with all those specifications. Do you have any final messages for us?
No, just stay safe, and again, utilize the website. And also, I'm available, as well as Harold and Jim. So members, TxDOT, if you guys are out there and y'all have questions, you have comments, you just want to talk about the stuff coming down the pipe, just give me a holler. Let me know. I've been talking with the industry, and I've been talking with TxDOT, so just give me a holler. I'm here and available for anybody to be able to reach out to.
Chuck, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Please call on Chuck if you have any questions or needs that he can handle for you. We have another element we've been working on through this COVID-19, all the social distancing and those type of things that has created a few challenges out there in the field, but also has created some great opportunities. And one of those great opportunities is e-ticketing. Jim Warren has been working with TxDOT as well as several of our members. They have a joint task group that's been looking at e-ticketing. Jim, can you bring us up to speed on e-ticketing and where y'all are?
Thank you, Harold. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Probably a lot of you guys are aware of different types of e-ticketing systems, some very simple, some very complicated. A number of states are going through this process right now. One just trying to deal with the issue of handing a piece of paper over to somebody else. And so with that whole effort, there's been a really larger concentrated, not insurgence, but resurgence, that's the word I'm looking for, on how to do this and how to get rid of the paper ticket. And so TxDOT and excuse me, I'm getting hung up here. TxDOT and our members, Craig Odom and Buddy Williams, are joint co-chairs of this small little committee. We've had a couple meetings. We're sharing information. We provided some ideas at the last meeting, and they're going to go back and take a good look at it. And essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to replace the paper ticket with an electronic version of that. And with that comes some challenges, but we're trying to figure out a way or utilize the technology, just like Chuck and Corey were talking about, utilize the technology in the field where they can accept the ticket and also provide the department a summary of the tickets at the end of the day or the end of the shift. So it's pretty simple what we're asking for. What we're trying to do is make it as open as possible, so as many of the different people that are developing systems, and we've even got companies that have developed their own systems in-house, and we just want to make sure that we can have a system that's going to replace the paper with an electronic version that's going to meet all the requirements that we're currently meeting, but then provide opportunities if people want to go above and beyond that with additional products or services, because there's all kinds of GPS systems and fleet management systems and all these other kind of things that the department doesn't need, but there are some benefits to the contractors if they want to look at those for their own work. So we're working on it. We've got another meeting coming up, and I think in about a week and a half, and we'll see what the department comes up with and see if we can move ahead. So if you have any questions at any time, just feel free to give me a call or an email. And that's it.
Jim, thank you very much for that update. You know, they're doing what they do best. Our members and TxDOT are partnering together and coming up with solutions for us out there. So thank you for that report. Everybody keep up that great work. I want to thank Jim. I want to thank Corey and Chuck for joining us today on TXAPA Live and doing a great job. But before we wrap up, I want to talk about the TXAPA annual meeting. Yes, we are going to have an annual meeting. It's September 15th through the 18th. It's going to be at the La Cantera Resort in San Antonio, Texas. We had a discussion with the hotel. As long as everything continues to go smoothly during the phases that Governor Abbott's laid out for us, they're going to be open. They're going to be ready for us, and we're going to be ready to have a big meeting too. We're putting some final details to the meeting right now, but I do want to assure you that we're going to have our shooting tournament, just like we always have. We're going to have our golf tournament. We're going to have our big casino party. We'll have expanded technical sessions this year. We're going to be going on Wednesday afternoon. We're going to have our awards presentation. All the award co-chairs have been discussing and going over with each other how that's going to happen, and it's going to happen. Very positive and excited about that. Of course, we're going to have our wonderful scholarship auction. Slade Angel and his committee have already met a couple of times, so you're fixing to see a lot of information come out about our scholarship auction. And of course, that night, which is September 17th at La Cantera, we are going to have a concert celebration for everybody after that wonderful auction. We're going to have Randy Rogers and Wade Bowen doing their concert of Hold My Beer and Watch This Show.
There we go.
Yeah, it's going to be a rock and rolling good time, good boot scooting music. So we want everybody to come down, have a good time, and a celebration. It's going to be great to see everybody, and we're looking forward to it. So as I wrap up, just want to remind everybody, keep doing your partnering that you're doing the debriefing, keeping that great communication open. Let's make sure we're using our common sense practices of social distancing and the personal hygiene, doing all those things together. And so we can keep opening up our businesses and keep progressing as we want to. Don't forget tomorrow, this Thursday, the 30th, Chuck and Ryan will be here to talk about item 244, and that would be at 2 p.m. You know, we appreciate you joining us as usual. Thank you for being a member and a partner to TXAPA. We really appreciate that. You know, put that smile on your face and somehow go get some of that Texas sunshine on you. Thank you.